Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen with BassResource.com. Today I want to run around the lake and I want to show you guys the method that I use to locate bass. Now this is my method. There are a lot of different people do it a lot of different ways, but this is how I do it. I want to show you how I look for bait fish and how I look for cover and structure and things like that before I even throw a line in the water, then how I go and I actually search for the bass and try to get bites or try to get things to happen. So let me just run around the lake and show this to you. Let's see how it turns out. All right, I just ran about 5 miles and I pulled up into this pocket, and you know, the watercolor's a little bit different. I noticed that and things like that. But the thing is, you motor around, you start looking for bait fish. And as you can see on the fish finder, you know, there's nothing. I mean, there is no bait fish in this area. So you've got to fight the urge to stop and fish that beautiful tree that's leaning over in the water, and you know, all that nice grass and things like that. Yeah, there may be a couple of fish there, but there's not going to be enough, and they're not, you know, they're just, you know, to me, they're just not going to be active. So I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to go and head up into another creek and see if I can't find some more fish. Just fight that urge to stop and fish when there is no bait fish in the area, okay? And like I said, I'm just looking for life. There's no ticking on the water. There's no birds feeding on the bank. There's no seagulls diving, you know, kind of stuff like that. Anyway, I'm gonna keep moving, see if I can find something. All right, so I came into a long creek, and it's about a 2.5, 3 mile long creek. And I idled all the way through this creek, and it was a wasteland. And I just couldn't find them. I was getting discouraged, getting ready to turn around. I said, well, let's go all the way to the back and take a look and see what's going on. So, you know, that's basically what I did. And as I got all the way to the back of this creek, now it's springtime. This is where they should be. But I started seeing a lot more life and a lot more life and a lot more life. And as you can see, there's not much, but, you know, here's some fish here. There's a pot of bait fish there. You know, and I just started seeing more and more life. There's some here, some there. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of bait fish right here. As the further back in this creek I go, the more life I see. There's birds over here around this point. So I'm going to stop here and fish. Why not? I mean, it's got the highest concentration of life that I've seen along this whole entire stretch of creek. All right, now what my goal is, or what I want to do, is I want to cover as much area as I can in a short amount of time. I want to locate the fish. I don't necessarily want to get them to bite, you know, or should I say to actually feed. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for that reaction strike. So I'm going to pull out a search bait. What's a search bait? Well, a search bait is a moving bait. Anything that, you know, you cast out and you reel it in is a moving bait. And I'm looking for fish to either follow or strike or bump or swing or something. I'm looking for some type of a sign that there's a bass in this area, okay? The search bait that I chose right now is a square bill, and I may switch to a rattle trap or a lipless crankbait. But other search baits or spinner baits, flukes, or square bills. Well, this is the wrong type of fish. But there are fish in the area. This would be a white bass, or that's a baby striper. Let's see if I can get him loose. But so I'm looking for, I'm just going to run the bank, and I'm not necessarily just going to wind it out or throw it out and wind it in. I want, like I said, I want a reaction strike. So I'm going to do an erratic retrieve, even with a rattle trap. I'm going to try different things. You know, I'm reeling it in, I'm stopping it, I'm jerking my rod, I'm doing all kinds of other stuff, I'm popping it, you know, fast and slow, and I'm just looking for that reaction strike. And as the bait comes in, I'm looking 1.5 feet, 2 feet behind it, and I'm looking to see if there's a fish following it maybe. So anyway, so I'm going to run this bank real quick. I'm going to turn the trolling motor on high, and I'm just going to look for sign. All right, well, let's drop that down just there. Well, the last area didn't work out so good. I kept catching the wrong species of bass. There was a bunch of white bass and well, hybrids and striped bass in the back of that creek. So I pulled out and I went and found some dirtier water. This is quite a bit dirtier. I think the visibility on at that last place was about 3.5 feet, 4 feet. Here I've got about 12 inches. So I think I can get away with being a little bit more aggressive, jerking a loud rattle trap around. And I'm going to focus on these points and pockets, little places where the bass will get into to ambush bait fish. You know, they'll stay out from the pockets, the bait fish move into the grass, and they go into the grass and they feed. Points, they sit up on the points and they wait for, they just wait for the bait fish to swim by. And they, you know, when the bait fish are down at depth, you know, they have to swim up and over top of these points a lot of times, and it puts them close to the bottom, and that's where the bass, you know, the bass don't like to suspend too much when they're feeding. They like to be associated to something. So I'm going to run this bank and spend a little bit more attention on the points. But another thing to remember, or to realize, you know, when you're fishing this color water, you got 12 inches of visibility. You're not going to be able to see the bass following the bait. So that's something that I really stopped looking for. I'm looking for a swirl behind it maybe if I'm fishing it shallow, but this one, you know, I'm going to try to run this one about 2.5, 3, 4 feet deep. Let's see what happens. But I'm still running fast. A lot of activity back in here. You know, it's the same thing. It's got a lot of bait fish. A lot of things ticking. A lot more things ticking here than there was in that other spot. So there's a lot more life here. There's a fish. Not a bad one. All right, so I got bit. Got bit on this point. I want you to notice on this rattle trap, he hit the back hooks. Okay, he got it pretty good, but he hit the back hook, so that's probably not exactly what they want to hit. I'm going to grab something and slow down. Spend a little bit more time on this point with a slow bait. But I've located them, okay? I know where the fish are, or some fish are. They're on this, you know, they're on this point. And I'm going to go and determine exactly what they want to eat. And then I'm going to go from point to point and find little spots. And some points will have fish on them, some won't. I'm still going to try pockets in between these points and see if I just found a good concentration of fish. So let's see. All right, what I got here is I just picked up a jig head. This is a creeper jig head by a Greenfish Tackle. It's a dragging jig head. So we've got a Rage craw. I want to say that's Falcon craw color, but it's one of my favorite dragging baits, especially this time of the year in early spring. Now another thing that I do a lot, and that I know a lot of people do, is you look around the lake and you see people fishing on the bank, or you see them fishing in a boat, and your automatic thing is to assume that, oh, they're catching fish and I'm not. Don't think that. You know, they could be sucking it up just as bad as you are. So, you know, don't assume that somebody else around the lake is catching fish and they know where the fish are and things like that. A bad day is a bad day. You know, as long as you go about it and go about that method, you should be able to, you know, use a method to find fish. You should be able to find them. Yeah. Go. That's what I'm talking about. Searching and finding fish, man, it's what it's all about. If you can't find the fish, you can't catch them. It's a nice little 3.5 pounder, maybe 4. He's pretty thick. They're getting ready to spawn. But you know, like I said, you know, you just got to find them. If you're not in the fish, you're not going to catch them. So find the bait fish. I'll let this go. Find the bait fish. Find the food that they eat, and you will find the fish. You will find them active. You'll find them feeding. Search for them. Go up and down the bank. Look for sign. Look for fish following, and so on and so forth. It's all a method. It's my method. It's not everybody's method. There's going to be a lot of people that say, well, I do it differently. That's fine. This is my way. That's what works for me. But like I always say, visit bassresource.com for the answer to all your questions about bass fishing. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my new one. And have a great day. And there's 3. 3 of my favorite things about a lipless crankbait.